embedded that link. Oh, we're live. I guess I should have embedded that link on Facebook because apparently I have a Facebook account now. Welcome to the March 14th, 2016 episode of The Word.
It's sweeps. We had to come back for sweeps.
Oh, that's right. So that still happens on TV now.
I guess.
The big ratings period. Because we're in that right now, obviously. And because of
you know what sweeps are for, right?
Well, I mean, I just thought it was ratings.
Well, yeah, that's how they set the advertising for like the next quarter. I think is based on what the ratings are during that period, like the advertising rates.
Okay,
so
sorry.
We will continue to be $0 to advertise on The Word. So if you're interested, reach out to me or Jay.
Oh, wait a minute. That's what we should start doing. We should start having our friends' businesses. We should invite them to advertise for free. Okay, boom. Takes care of the content. See, this is why Richard Bruce Munchausen Abernathy. I think I've already used Munchausen.
Hey, I like it. It's a go-to.
He's the executive producer of the show because he's the idea guy. This is what we need him. We need him on the show for this.
Here's the thing: we do the show backwards. We have the real conversations off air, and then have like the planning meetings as the actual show.
As the show begins. So we are shorter on time today. We're both actually at the office, which is good. This should be the show.
I'm off the clock.
Likewise, I'm off the clock too. I'm not stealing time here, obviously. No, we were talking before the show started. We've been away for 2 weeks. 1 week I was sick. The next week I just come back from.
You said, "Screw everybody. I'm not dealing with this."
I wanted to, but I had to take an adventure down to Miami to get my car, which had been there for months. And Miami, as I found out in many different ways, is a time warp. So I just completely lost myself, lost track of time. Needed some time to recover. Now we're back. Rich texted me this morning, this afternoon, and we're on. But here's something we talked about before the show started that we can now expose on air.
Yeah, I'm mad at you.
And here's the problem. I drove straight from Florida, from Miami, to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to back home in Raleigh. And I thought about it because Richard Bruce Jackson Abernathy, Action Jackson, lives in Jacksonville. And I was like, well, I could just, we've been trying to get together for a
halfway point.
Exactly. But by the time I was passing through and had the idea, it was so late that I just decided to just stick through it and just get to Atlanta. But what
was her name? What was her name?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have, there's no pros in area codes. Yes. So that's why we've been on a hiatus. We're back. We have a short show for you tonight. Couple things we need to discuss. Now, two of them.
OJ.
Well, see, here's the thing. I haven't caught up on the OJ show, but did I miss good stuff? Is that why you put it in the rundown?
It's always good stuff.
Well,
it's always good stuff.
Here's my problem with that show.
Listen, I know you missed the show.
Yes.
Uncle Juice wouldn't do that.
Oh, stop. David Schwimmer. Why? David Schwimmer, why?
It's so good. I love it.
It's
everything about that show. It's incredible.
That is one episode that I did see. They're at the buffet or whatever eating. Here's my problem with that show. Because the impression I get is that they're weaving this backstory of the people involved besides him. And of course, the Kardashian family, and it's like, oh, we have Kim and Klas. Like, I don't want to see that. I see that every day in my life, and now I have to see it on a show about something that happened 20 years ago.
You'd rather see the murder than.
I don't need to see actual violence, but I gotta watch a young Kim Kardashian being portrayed by whoever. My problem with that show, and this is going to go back. This is very Joe Half-Life, the creator of the early Word, which is where this show is derived from.
Shout out. Puppies, chips, and salsa.
Cuddlecentral.unc.edu. One of the most. He created that website.
He invented social media, basically.
Oh, he was the person that put me on Facebook.
He was a pioneer.
So this is a comment that I think he would sympathize with, but I know it's a period piece, even though it's only 20 years ago. But what's going on with Marcia Clark's hair? Was that what her hair was like in the trial?
It's funny you bring that up, James. If you were
Why?
caught up on the show, it was that was a little subplot of last week's episode.
Because okay, well then now I'm
And,
gonna have to peep it.
and it was actually like a thing during the trial. She changes up her hairstyle, maybe more than once.
Okay, now I get it. See, because in the
She gets a
trailers,
little caught up in her public image and things. She gets caught up in the noise, if you will.
right? Which is, I mean, that really is the main character of that show is the media circus around it. It kind of gave birth to the 24-hour news cycle with the Bronco chase, at least.
So that's your issue with the show. Can we get to my big issue with the show? It's not long enough, and there aren't enough episodes. That's my issue with the show.
And there isn't enough of what's his name? Not is it AC? Is that the guy that drove the Bronco?
Alex? Oh yeah. You know who it is, goddammit!
That is, he wins an Emmy. He wins an Emmy for that line.
I'll give him an Oscar, even though it's not a motion picture. He gets an Oscar.
For your consideration, completely outside of the realm of qualification, we would like to nominate Malcolm Jamal Warner for Best Supporting Actor in a film role, even though he played it on TV and had maybe 8 lines. Maybe.
So, maybe.
Well, okay, now I'm going to have to catch up. I've been...
yeah, they're taking a few liberties with the specifics of the plot, but it's still an enjoyable watch. I love it.
Well, I mean, I just love... And I texted you this when I was really caught into the first couple episodes, is that there are kids now, maybe my brother, I mean, he's 21, 22, and that might watch this and view it as like, oh, that thing that happened, but it's not like, they may not know how big of a deal it was. And I was blown away, that's why I was texting you, just about how, and again, maybe they took some liberties with the evidence and all that, with the fiction, the writing, not the actual police.
Oh, they took some liberties with the evidence, all right.
Well, yeah.
They'll get to that.
Yeah, but like, I thought it seemed like such an open and shut case, but I guess that really is kind of the story of the whole saga, is like, not everything's what it seems.
Exactly, and much like that's part of the allure is the cheesy guilty pleasure nature of it. But then on top of that,
you're right.
there are some great performances, and there is a subtext that really sort of touches on media, race, different, universal truths that were true then that are true now. And it's interesting to see how some things have changed a lot and some things haven't really changed that much at all.
Right. And I, particularly considering the kind of climate that we're in now, regardless of an election year, some of the things that have happened with race relations. Excuse me. So we are live here on YouTube and on Google Hangouts on Air. The name of the program is The Word. Although I have breaking news, Rich.
What do you got, Jay? By the way, he's James Mendia. I'm Rich Abernathy.
We didn't introduce ourselves.
We're
Sorry.
terrible at introductions. We're like the guy that shows up at the party with a friend that nobody else knows, and then like 3 hours in, oh yeah, by the way, this is Julia. And it's like, yeah, I know, I introduced myself. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so bad at that in real life and on the podcast. So that's who we are. You can subscribe to us on YouTube to get notifications when we're broadcasting live or when we post new videos. And there is a chat function, but I don't know. I'm looking at it. I think it's functional, but I don't know if people can comment in there. So if you feel so inclined, please do so. Not
you, Mom.
No, a rebroadcast, or sorry, whatever you want to call it, on-demand version of the show is available as soon as we wrap up, in case you want to watch the rest of it. But let's get to brass tacks. We discussed OJ, which we will discuss every week, even when the show's not on.
Watch it, everyone.
You have to, just for that AC line, if for nothing else. And okay, so we've covered the stuff portion of the show. Sports news and stuff is the kind of that is the main hashtag of the program.
Sports news stuff.
But what I want to get to is breaking news. We're gonna change the name of the program. I know. I just
First you drive through my town, you don't come visit me. Now you're changing the name of the show 11 years in.
yeah, and I know it's controversial, but here's the thing.
Here, lay it on me.
I don't. I'm not going to give you the name yet. That has to be like a big reveal, and maybe we'll even plan that out. You know, that would be a big step for us. But the reason why I came up with it is I was looking for. I had to set up a client website for some freelance work that I'm doing, but it needed to be on the internet. So I couldn't just set up like a WordPress site and send it to them. It needed to be something that was a little bit more functional. So I started looking at like, okay, well, how can I host a cheap website just for them? And then I did it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. It's pretty cheap, probably like $4 a month. I was like, all right, I don't want to spend money on the word, but let's look and see how much it would cost. We want to set up a website for us. So I was looking at it, and then I was like, well, but the URL, like theword.com, it might be. I don't even look for it. I'm like, I don't want that URL. I don't want the word podcast.
If you're looking for something for Christmas or my birthday or show anniversary, whatever. I think the 12-year show anniversary is website domain, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
Year 1 is paper. Year 2 is wood. Year 12 domain name. Just if you're.
So we're getting close there because, all right. Well, because the reason why I thought about changing is because I was like, well, the URL that I would buy for the show would actually be perfect for the name of the show. So I'm gonna see if people can figure it out.
Yeah, don't say it because then somebody's gonna buy it and we'll have to pay them for it.
Yeah. Okay. Good call. That's why you're the executive producer, because these are things that are way beyond my realm of thinking here.
Also, okay, I said dibs.
So that being said, let's move on to the big story, the big news, which is you've got a shot at winning the Florida primary and grabbing all those. It's a winner take all electoral. Primary delegate state.
This is true.
So you're giving Trump a run for his money, which I don't think anybody really is surprised by that.
Maybe a little bit. I've really been able to reach across the aisle and threaten plenty of those supporters, which seems to have really helped my cause.
I think that's the way to go. We're in a golden age of politics. Golden. And I stick with my prediction that I said the last time we were on air, is that Donald Trump's going to win the election. You don't believe me, Rich.
I don't want to believe you.
See, that's different.
That is
totally different.
It is different. It's one of those things. It's just the longer it goes, I just feel like eventually people are going to snap out of this thing, or I don't know. Or or Mitch McConnell's going to take him out with a sniper rifle, one of the two. I don't know.
Now, there's a TV show that I would watch. Mitch McConnell, PI.
Oh, I need a new scope so I could use my bullets. Yep.
I mean, the slowest, because most of these private investigators on TV, they're handsome, they're young, they're slick. No, Mitch McConnell, old school. And then he teams up with Lindsey Graham and John Boehner, and
he's from Kentucky, right?
Mitch McConnell's from Kentucky, yes.
I got a name for the show.
Oh God, yes, give it to me.
Manchurian Bluegrass.
That's it. Okay, we're done with
that, or just codename Bluegrass.
Ooh. Okay, that's it. Broadcast is over. We need to go pitch this idea. This is big. This is massive.
Get Les Moonves on the line.
It would be on CBS, right? That kind of fits the demographic.
From Blue Bloods to Bluegrass.
Ooh, see, this is okay. This is why you all think I'm playing. You think that I just no, Rich is not a game. This is real. This is what he does. This is a TV show out of thin air. Come on.
Done.
So okay, so no, but so we won't dwell too much on your run for president, because we know that it's in the bag.
I like to stay low key,
and I think that's what a message that resonates with voters in your case. But let's move on.
If I can, real quick.
Yes.
I've revised my stump speech a little bit.
Oh.
And there's an issue that I really want to talk about, and there's just something important I really want to say. right.
I think that's a message that resonates with voters. So let's move on to the real meat and potatoes here, because we had Selection Sunday yesterday. Was yesterday Sunday? Yes. We had Selection Sunday.
By the way, the bracket is leaked. I already know who's going to win the title. The bracket's already. I've already gotten it.
Wow. Okay. Who's going to win the title?
That whole thing was hilarious, by the way.
No, I didn't see this.
CBS was really dragging out, the different regions, and rather than sort of giving you the quick, hey, here's this region, we'll go through it. Here's the next one, we'll go through it. Go through all four, and then kind of break it down. It was very staggered. Of all right, we're going to reveal one, we're going to break it down for 10 minutes, then the next one. So they're trying to stretch it out over like 2 hours.
Oh.
Rather than, look, you've built up enough goodwill with me. I'm obviously watching because I'm invested in not just my team, but college basketball in general. Give me the bracket, and I'll hang around and watch your analysis. I'll hang out to watch Chuck not be able to work the smart board, touch screen. Oh, it was awful. It was just it was a train wreck in and of itself. But somehow, apparently, the bracket got leaked online like a half hour into a 2-hour show, or somewhere around that point.
Wow.
And it was great. It was people revolted. And listen, the internet can be used for harm and for all sorts of malicious, nefarious things. Not this time, my friends. This was a true hero, probably someone who will currently be or soon to be referred to as a former employee of CBS,
right?
Or the NCAA. Although I think the NCAA will have to have like an 8-year investigation before they make a decision on who was culpable yesterday. But
and then suspend them for a day.
They'll have to pay. They'll have to pay back the money. Yeah. But just don't drag it out. Just give us the brackets. People want their brackets.
So let's do this. We each get, because I'm going to admit it, I haven't filled out a bracket yet. And normally I've done 4 by this point on the Monday after.
Listen,
I
have an idea for a little different analysis this year, if I may.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm not running an ISO set. We're going to run a little pick and roll here.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling the play. I'm looking over to coach on the bench. All right, I got the play. We're going to break it down sort of rapid fire style. Which team do you trust the least? Go.
Okay. Oh, wow, I'm on the spot. Okay.
And this is like top 4-ish seed area. Which team do you trust the least?
Kansas.
You took mine.
Yeah, I know, right? You shouldn't have asked me, because that's like the obvious choice, right?
Okay.
Like, trust the least.
This may be wishful thinking on my part. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it. Next team I trust the least is Texas A&M.
Okay, I like that pick. Here's the team that I trust the most. Virginia.
Okay, interesting. Now they're up against Michigan State for like the 19th straight year in their region. So,
boy, they love setting up these coaching and history matchups. They don't even hide it anymore. Like, I said it on the show so many times. Like, oh, geez, Duke and Kentucky are on the same side of the bracket again. Like, get out of here. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm going to go Michigan State.
Ooh, good one. Here's
Michigan State.
Now, okay.
Now,
so go ahead. Yeah,
two more categories.
Okay.
Who's the prohibitive favorite?
What do you mean by prohibitive?
You have to pick one team. There's a gun to your head. You have to pick one team to win the title.
Ooh, to win it?
Listen, your daughter has been taken overseas. Your certain set of skills is not enough to get her back, but they'll let her go if you pick the national champion.
Did you pick the right bracket? That's another movie idea. You just came up out of thin air. That's okay.
It's not the Final Four. It's the Taken 4.
Oh my God. I'm actually going to go because normally this would be a homer pick and people are like, yeah, But I would actually say that North Carolina kind of is that team this year.
I agree. I think they flipped that switch, so to speak.
Good.
So as long as they stay engaged.
Right. And you know what? This seems like the group of great young kids that, yeah, there's maybe a little bit of a green factor in terms of the deep experience, but when push comes to shove, I think that they can do it. When you talk, like you said, when it's staying engaged. So, but yeah, I don't like picking them because it's too personal.
You already have enough invested emotionally.
Yeah, I can't help it. I mean, as many of you know, Rich and I are, excuse me, alumni of that school.
And one of us even cheers for that school.
One of us cheers for, which I keep forgetting about that with you, but yes. Here you go. One of us does cheer for them in basketball. Of course, football, my allegiance is with Duke. That's a whole other story. Okay, so that was so. All right, so we both got. So what's the last category? And then we got to go to your text punctuation.
Yeah, dark horse.
Stony Brook. No, I just wanted to say that like all day today. I've been waiting to say that. Okay. VCU.
Wow. Okay.
Are they dark enough? I don't even know if they're dark enough, but they're not coming in with the fans.
I feel like that's a trap.
Yeah, you're going to be all over. You're going to be all over BuzzFeed tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe what this podcast host said on the air.
Leave it to the white guy to ruin it. Am I right? That's one of our old YouTube comments. That's an inside joke.
I have so much hatred for that YouTube comment because that skit was good, and they came in there and they pooped all over your part. I don't even want to get started.
I did kind of ruin it.
No, this is absurd.
Okay. I would say Kentucky, but I mean it's Kentucky. You can't really call them a dark horse.
Exactly.
Four seed. Purdue.
Oh man, boy, you are on fire right now.
Purdue.
Oof. Big 10,
that's where I'm going. So everyone go bet on whoever Purdue is playing in the first round because I'll be wrong.
Yep, that's
just get it out of the way.
Vegas loves us. Vegas loves us because we are good at picking who isn't going to win.
Actually, if Vegas doesn't love me, I feel like if I were to text something to Vegas, they would probably text me back instead of just okay. There'd be a period at the end of it.
Ooh, and that takes us into our next and final topic, people. I'm going to let you set this one up because you texted this to me and it really hit home.
Okay. So if you were to text someone, I mean, anyone really, I think it applies to anyone, but especially someone of the opposite sex. And
that you're trying to holler at.
You're trying to holler, you're trying to, hey, what are you doing? Or this is going on, or, hey, I know we said 8, maybe more like 8:15. Is there a difference if you just get back, okay, 2 letters, an O and a K, or okay, period?
And yeah, and look, I mean, let's just go ahead and break it down. Why are we sending back one-word responses anyway? Like, I have time to deal with that mind game BS. You're going to send me back one response I just put together. And you know how it is when you're texting someone that you're crushing on. It's like the situation room in the White House. You have all your advisors sitting down with you, going over scenarios. Okay,
it's like the Cuban
Mr. President.
Crisis.
It's exactly what it is. Okay, Mr. President, if we send this text, you have people on both sides of the discussion. Look, I don't think we should send this text. I think we wait, we make a phone call. No, we're not making a phone call, Johnson. We're sending a text. Well, if we go with it, it's just this back and forth. You finally agree on something. You get the Joint Chiefs on board. You send the text, and you get back, okay.
Everybody's quiet. Everybody's quiet. And then you get the response, and then it's like the NASA mission control. Everybody erupts.
Exactly. And then that enthusiasm eventually fades as you realize, oh, now I have to send another text at some point. Maybe in 3 days.
And then you slowly begin to hate everyone and yourself, and it's a downward spiral. But I'm kidding. That was very negative. I was joking. But in all seriousness, for the most part, people don't punctuate, especially a one-word or a short one-sentence answer.
Yes.
Now, listen, we are living in a society. You can't just have a run-on 4 sentence with no punctuation text message. That's absurd.
Right.
I mean, come on, we're not animals.
I'll agree.
But if you're just like, okay, cool, or sounds good, you don't do sounds good, period. You don't do, that's cool, period. You just leave it open. It just feels very an abrupt end, a terse text, if you will.
Well, and I think that is, and we're gonna continue on this journey throughout the program, because what really needs to be discussed is when you have so many options and not so many people you're talking to or texting or whatever. Maybe that's the case, but there's just so many other things to distract you on your phone when it comes to communicating with other people. That sort of thing is now acceptable, and if you just take a second and maybe just think of something a little bit more tact, you can save everybody some grief and some angst and hours in the situation room. And I think that it's not that hard. But the core
if any of you think that okay period is not a sort of a short, I'm pissed off at you, okay, please feel free to explain yourselves.
Actually, and see, this is again why Richard Bruce Stafford Abernathy. That's why you're a genius, because we need to broaden the horizons of this program. So what we're going to do, and I texted you about someone that I wanted to have on the show today. I don't know how possible that is.
Their agent did not get back to me, unfortunately.
Okay. So, well, it may take a couple cracks, but we're going to bring someone on the show, maybe from the female perspective, to really break this down. See, this is the problem. Okay, let me just start clapping here. That's how you know I'm serious. Is it Kevin Hart? That's a Kevin Hart bit.
Yeah.
The problem is the communication between men and women of all ages. I just got sent a Vine the other day by a good friend of mine, a friend of the program, and it was just talking about like the funny things you do when you're at a party and your crush shows up. And I texted her today or the other day. I was like, the funny thing about that Vine is that could be about 15-year-olds, or it could be like my life now. There's no difference, right? So we're all experiencing the same stuff, just different phases in our life. Let's bring somebody with a different perspective that can open people's eyes, and we're gonna have a discourse on this program.
Let's do it. Now, that reminds me of two very quick more communication things real quick. I'll keep it short.
Yes.
One, how has someone not created the sarcasm font yet? It's $1 million idea.
At least.
And here's the second thing. The name of it needs some work, but I call it the equality of communication principle. It's very, very concise. Basically, if I call you, don't text me back. You have to meet or exceed the previous communication in your response. So
go ahead.
If I shoot you an email, don't send me a snap.
Ooh, see, but this is why the American people want you in office, because this is exactly the kind of clear, concise legislation that needs to be mandatory. If you're going to have a phone, you have to be subject to these laws.
Yeah. Otherwise, 6 months in a federal penitentiary. It's fair.
What did you say? The equivalency or the equality of communication?
The equality.
The Equality of Communication Act, ECA, or as we will call it.
Much like the show, it needs a new title.
No, ECA, or as we'll call it, we have Obamacare. This is going to be called Abernathy text.
Ooh.
See, come on. This is why the American... Okay, I'm getting tired of repeating myself, people. This is why the American people need you in office.
As my campaign manager, I appreciate your support.
Wow.
No, not you. No, my campaign manager's watching. You're not my campaign manager.
Oh,
I was just letting them know.
You were going to make me turn red.
If I was to have a campaign manager, it would be you.
Wow. Well, if you guys don't run background checks, although I don't know, I mean,
We don't, and we don't really have a lot of money at the moment, so it would need to be some pro bono work. So
at least to start out with, I'll be your Doug Stamper. Do you watch House of Cards?
I stopped in early season 2. It was getting a little too. It was a little too dark. I was binging. I was in a bad place.
Yeah, you get.
Show. I was sort of down the rabbit hole a little bit. I had to take a step back.
Okay, I like it. We'll return to House of Cards next week. New season just came out. I binged it. I watched it, and it is just so funny when you realize, as you did, where you are with the show and where the show is going, and you're like, do I want to be a part of this anymore? I mean, and with a show like that is meant to suck you in, it really is obvious when it's going on.
Yeah.
So
it was sort of like going down the Dexter show hole at one point, where it was really good. It was like, all right, this is getting a little dark. I need to take a break from this for a minute. Okay,
so we've got to both get back to our desks here. But I like the short show formats, although maybe we need like 10 more minutes. So we'll work out the technical.
Medium.
Yeah, there we go. You know, I can't fit into a schmedium shirt, but I can do a schmedium show. Anyway, but we want to thank all of you for watching. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can share the links if you're so inclined. We are going to broadcast every Monday. And Rich, I think we should keep it Mondays because you know what? Sundays in the evenings, we're going to be competing with a lot of television coming up. Not that we are actually
it's not TV, it's HBO.
Exactly. Not that we're actually competing with those people, but I want to watch that stuff. By
the way, speaking of Sunday night television, I have a confession to make next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I have a confession to make.
Wow. Put that on the rundown because I might forget.
That's all I'm going to say. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Ooh, interesting. I'm very intrigued now. Yeah. I hope you're not breaking up with me.
But no, I'm not.
Okay.
Even though you didn't come visit me. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this week's show, New Media Campaigns. You need a website built, talented people, especially if you're in the political realm this time of year. NewMediaCampaigns.com. Check them out. They do great work. They're great people. Give them your business.
We have a sponsor. Okay. For Richard Bruce Mickelson Abernathy. I'm James Mundia. Thank you for watching The Word, our 900th episode. I don't know. I'm just guessing at a number there. But thank you for watching. Check us out on YouTube. You can subscribe. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
See you guys.